Hello YouTube, my name's Sarah and this is Read Write Plan, where we talk about all things reading, writing, and planning. I'm pretty new to YouTube, so I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Today I'm going to be setting up my main planner for 2025. I have done a full flip through of this, so I will link those down below. But today we are going to set this up sort of in a bullet journal style. So I've just got some microns. I've got some Stettler pens and some Tombow pens. I've got a little bit of washi tape. I don't have a ton of washi tape, but this stuff I believe came from Amazon. And we're just going to get this set up. So let me put this aside and open her up and show you what I got going on here. Okay, so when you open it up, this is the main page. And what I actually did was I took all of the dot grid paper that was in the back. I tore this thing apart and I moved it up front so that I could have kind of like my bullet journal collections. I used to be a bullet journaler and I've moved into this year because I really like the goal planning in it and the weekly spreads. But I did miss that little bit of bullet journal at the beginning. So I took all those pages from the back and I moved them to the front. Now these first two pages are going to be set aside for my vision board. I am in a planner group that meets monthly, the Pittsburgh Planners. So if anybody's in the Pittsburgh area, we'd love to have you. But we're going to do a vision board in January. So I'm going to leave these pages blank to do the vision board with my planner group. So the first page that I'm going to do is important dates. This is going to be birthdays and anniversaries and anything that I don't want to forget about. So I've sort of laid it out a little bit here, so I'm just going to get started. So I'm going to use the short brush Tombow to just kind of write important dates along the top. Okay, there we go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this out into a little spot for each month. So 6 on one side, 6 on the other. I've printed out some little calendars to go along with that. So that's what I'm going to work on now. And I couldn't find any of my rulers. So I just pulled out an old Erin Condren A5 cover that I'm going to be using for my ruler. So if you see that, that's what that is. Okay, so I don't know why drawing those lines in made me so nervous. Do you guys get nervous when you're going in a new planner? That really made me nervous, and I'm not sure why, but it's okay. Now I'm just going to write the names of the months in. And I'm not going to be real fussy about this. Okay, so there's the months. And like I said, I printed out some calendars. And I'm just going to put those under each name of each month. Okay, so there's my months all set up. I just have a couple of little stickers that I printed out here to put in the corners. Okay, and I'm just going to use a little bit of a Tombow to fill those in, just to give it a little bit of color. Okay. I thought maybe some washi on the sides, but I kind of like the way that's looking. Maybe I'll do just a little strip along the bottom to kind of cover up these page numbers that, since I took them from the back, no longer are really relevant. Okay, so I think that looks pretty cute. I'm going to have to go into my date book and get all the birthdays and anniversaries that I want to put in there. And I'll do that at the end, and then we'll do a flip through. Okay, so the next page is my bucket list for the year. And the reason that I'm doing a bucket list, and it's just going to be some fun things, is because my husband and I have been traveling in an RV for the last several years. We're back in town this year because we had a grandbaby and we're helping to babysit. And so we're kind of struggling to find fun things to do when we're not in Florida and you can't just go to the beach. So I've come up with a list of 30 things, small things, that we can do this year just for fun. So I'm going to letter bucket list on top. I've got some doodles on the bottom, and I'm going to put check boxes on the side. Okay, so there's my bucket list title. I'm not going to be super fussy about these boxes. I'm just going to draw them in by hand. Okay, so there's my 30 boxes. And I'm just going to take some time to work on some of these doodles down below, and then I'll meet you back here after. Okay, so there's my doodles. Clearly I'm not going to be winning any doodle contests anytime soon, but I think they're fun for me. And again, just like with the birthdays, I'll fill these out and then we can take a look at it when we do our final flip through. Okay, so similar to kind of the bucket list ideas, I wanted a place to record date nights. We want to be very intentional about date nights this year. Again, since we are back home and it's snowing outside and we're cold and we don't want to leave the warmth of our bed, we want to be very intentional about making sure that we are enjoying each other this year, even though we're not on the beach. Okay, so I'm going to put date night on top. And then again, I just put 6 months on one page, 6 months on the other, and I'll just record, maybe put some pictures of what we do for our date nights. And now I'm just going to put the months on the sides and a little bit of a doodle at the bottom. Okay, and I think I'm just going to do a tiny little bit of washi at the top. And there's my date night page. Okay, the last page I'm going to do is kind of my ideal routines for morning and evening. There's already a sun on top, so I went in the back and there was one page left in the back where I had done my pen test and I had a moon on it, so I cut out the moon. So I'm going to put the moon right here. So this will be my morning routine and my evening routine. Okay, so I think that looks good. And again, one more thing I need to get filled in, but we'll do that off camera. Okay, now let's talk about the goals pages. So this book has tons of goals pages at the beginning where you really kind of think about what your goals are for the year. And I've done a lot of work going through these. And then there's kind of a mind map. Now it has for 1 year, 3 years, 10 years, and lifetime. I didn't fill all of those out. I kind of really just want to focus on this year. I'm at the point in my life where I do have some long-term goals, but really right now I'm just kind of going with this year. So instead of using these, I wanted to take this page and kind of make it my goals page where I list all of the goals that I have come up with. And since there's 6 spaces, I kind of went with 6 goals. All right, I'm going to cover these up with sticker paper. I don't think it's going to cover them up completely, but that's okay. Okay, I think that worked pretty well. And then I'm just going to write 2025 and goals. And then maybe a little more washi. Okay, let me fill those in and then we'll talk about each one. Okay, so here are my goals for 2025, and I've separated them out into 6 categories. The first one is family, and there's kind of 3 things that I'm focusing on here. The first is, connecting with my husband. We're empty nesters. We have a lot of time to ourselves, so looking at how we can fulfill that time and spend quality time together. It's also hard to be an empty nester of older kids with careers and families, and working in time to meet with all of them with all of our busy schedules. I want to at least try to once a month get together to have a family dinner at a restaurant or at one of our houses. And then birthday cards. That sounds silly, but I have been really bad about sending birthday cards out to our extended family, so I want to make that a priority this year. Next, we have create. I've started this YouTube video. Again, I'm brand new to YouTube, so if you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. I've never said this out loud before, but I am working on writing a book, and that's just something for my own enjoyment and my own fulfillment. I've got book club that we're working on, and reading books are my planner meetups. I've mentioned my planner group. Again, if you're in Pittsburgh, come and join us. Budgeting, we have some long-term goals that we're working on. So monthly meetings about our budget, working on some savings goals, and then just spending less overall. On this side, the first one I have is health, and that's my physical health. I really want to focus on stretching and exercising, eating well, taking some supplements, especially in this cold weather. I need some vitamin D because we don't have any sunshine. So just some things, some vitamins and things that I want to focus on this year. Wellness, this is kind of my mental wellness. And all I have there, I want to work on journaling and meditating to just kind of get in better touch with myself. And then lastly, we have space. And I have kind of 2 things here. First off, my husband and I have been traveling the country in our camper for the last several years. We're back in town now. We're still living in our camper, so I want to make sure that our space, it's very difficult to live in a tiny space and keep it organized. So I just want to make sure that we're keeping organized. And then we're also making plans to buy some property and build a tiny home, kind of as a home base to come and go from. So working on looking for that property and making those plans. Okay, so there's my goals. I'm going to go back and fill in some of those things, and then we'll do a final flip through and check it all out. All right, time for the final flip through. Again, this page is going to be my vision board once we have that meeting with my planner group. I ended up not putting the names in and the birthdays in pen because I realized I have so few actually written down, and I have nobody's anniversary written down. So I kind of penciled them in for now. And then once I kind of talk to everybody and get more birthdays and anniversaries, I'll put those in pen. I decided to put a little bit of washi at the top here and just a little bit of color at the bottom. And then when I was going through the bucket list, I realized I only had 29. So if anybody has an idea for my last bucket list item, let me know in the comments, please. But just some of these, we've been talking about going horseback riding for a long time. We want to take our granddaughter to the American Girl store in New York City. I want to take a pottery class because the only class that I ever in my entire life got less than a B in was throw pottery in college, so I need to redeem myself. We want to go to Salem, Massachusetts. Some fun little things like flying a kite and going for a bike ride. I want to go to Falling Waters. That's the Frank Lloyd Wright house, and it's very near to where we live, and yet we've never been there. And then, of course, we need to get more tattoos. So there's my bucket list. Again, if you have an idea for that last one, let me know. The date night looks the same. I haven't added anything. I'll fill that in throughout the year. And then the final spread of the beginning pages is my ideal routines. Morning and evening. I recognize that I probably won't do all of these things every day, but I'm really, really bad because I work from home. I'm really bad about just rolling out of bed and getting onto my computer without getting myself ready for my day at all. So that's going to be one of my focuses of 2025 is just taking a little bit better care of myself in the morning. And then in the evening, doing some meal prep and some phones down couples time together before getting to bed by 10. And then the last page that we did today was just my 2025 goals page. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Join me next time when I set up January and get myself ready for 2025. I can't believe it's almost here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.